The 25 billion Hermes mystery. Where did the money go? $25 billion vanishes into thin air, the baffling enigma surrounding luxury giant Hermes. Imagine waking up one morning to find a quarter of your family's fortune, worth a staggering $25 billion, mysteriously gone. Welcome to the perplexing world of Hermes, where the disappearance of 6 million shares has left investigators, courts, and the ultra-rich Puech family stunned. At the heart of this enduring whodunit is the late Eric Freymond, a former trusted advisor to Nicolas Puech, an octogenarian heir to the Hermes throne. Freymond's recent passing at 67 has reignited the spotlight on the unsolved mystery, sparking more questions than answers. But here's where it gets complicated. Freymond, who managed Puech's wealth for 24 years, was accused by his former client of mishandling the vast fortune, specifically the vanishing Hermes International SCA shares. However, a Geneva appeals court ruling last year found no evidence to support these allegations, leaving the case shrouded in uncertainty. A brief history of the feud. Over a decade ago, luxury rival Bernard Arnault, LVMH founder, secretly acquired a significant stake in Hermes, prompting the Puech family to band together and successfully fend off the unwanted takeover. In 2014, Arnault agreed to unwind his stake, yet the fate of Puech shares remained a closely guarded secret. Fast forward to 2023, Puech publicly accused Freymond of wrongdoing, only to have the allegations dismissed in court. The Puech family, Europe's richest dynasty. With over 100 members, the Puech family is renowned for its staggering wealth. If Nicolas Puech still retains his stake, he would emerge as the single largest investor in the iconic house of Birkin handbags and silk scarves. Founded in 1837. Unraveling Eric Freymond's life. Born June 21, 1958, Freymond studied law at the Université de Genève from 1979 to 1983. His career spanned banking, Ferrier, Lalande and Vernes Gestion, before establishing Semper Gestion in 2001. Post-retirement in 2014, Freymond, along with his wife Caroline, ventured into contemporary art with Espace Mirail in Geneva. And this is the part most people miss. A recent lawsuit filed in Washington, D.C., accuses Puech of failing to deliver $16 billion worth of Hermes shares as part of a sale agreement. Puech's lawyer vehemently denies any client involvement, adding another layer to the intrigue. The mystery lingers. With Freymond's passing, the truth behind the missing $25 billion may never be fully revealed. As the Hermes clan continues to thrive, one question echoes. What really happened to Puech's shares? We want to hear from you. Do you think the truth behind the missing Hermes shares will ever come to light? Should there be further investigations into the dealings of ultra-high net worth individuals to prevent such mysteries? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The mysterious disappearance of Hermes Heir's shares. A family feud turned financial mystery is shaking the foundations of one of the world's most iconic luxury brands. At the heart of it, the vanishing act of millions of Hermes shares belonging to an heir in the Puech family, and the CEO's blunt admission that those shares may never return. Here's where it gets tricky. Hermes CEO Axel Dumas recently dropped a bombshell, stating he's been convinced for years that 82-year-old Nicolas Puech, a great-grandson of the company's founder, no longer holds the 6 million shares he once owned, shares representing a staggering 5.76% of Hermes capital, now valued at nearly 14.5 billion euros. But how did it come to this? And what does it mean for the future of the brand? Let's untangle the threads. The saga has taken a dramatic turn, especially after the shocking suicide of Puech's former wealth manager, Eric Freymond, last week. Dumas, speaking at the sidelines of a results presentation in Paris, called the event tragic, but refused to mince words. "I have long been convinced that Mr. Puech no longer has his shares," he declared, adding that legal action is already underway. "I don't believe these shares are recoverable." For context, Puech's shares were a cornerstone of Hermes' family-controlled structure, and their disappearance raises questions about whether they were sold or stolen before Bernard Arnault, the LVMH chairman, quietly built a stake in his rival. Here's the twist. Last year, Geneva courts dismissed Puech's lawsuit against Freymond, clearing him of wrongdoing. But Puech isn't giving up. He's also filed a separate complaint in France. The real controversy? No one knows for sure what happened to those shares. Did Freymond orchestrate a financial heist? Or was this a case of poor judgment and mismanagement? And if the shares were sold, could this have inadvertently benefited LVMH's strategic moves? This isn't just a family drama. It's a high-stakes game of corporate chess with billions on the line. The legal battles will likely drag on, but the implications for Hermès' legacy and control are undeniable. What do you think? Was this a tragic misstep or something more sinister? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because the truth, it seems, is as elusive as the missing shares themselves. Hermès share dispute explained. Family governance, luxury brand resilience. Hermès share tussle. An insightful examination of family leadership and luxury brand vigor. Amelia Thompson. Friday, July 25, 2025. 11:22 a.m. Eastern Time. 4-minute read. The contentious legal skirmish surrounding Hermès International's shareholding centered on Nicolas Puech, a crucial descendant of the illustrious family lineage, and Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, has rekindled discussions on the intricate relationship between familial administration, legal uncertainties, and external investor coercion in determining the worth of high-end luxury goods. As the conflict unfolds, it serves as a captivating prism through which to scrutinize the convergence of these forces within the domain of superlative brands. Family leadership, the foundation of persistent control. Hermès' administrative paradigm, grounded in familial oversight and a democratic monarchy blueprint, has consistently been its distinctive hallmark. The Puech, Dumas, and Garand clans jointly possess 66% of the firm's shares, with the residual 34% held by institutional stakeholders. This arrangement, bolstered by the establishment of H51, a family-led holding entity in 2010, ensures that no extrinsic party can acquire a commanding interest. The 2010 reorganization, a direct countermeasure to LVMH's abortive takeover bid, incorporated a 20-year prohibition on transferring 51% of shares and a family prerogative of initial acquisition. These precautions have enabled Hermès to withstand external influences while upholding its artisanal essence and premium pricing. Nonetheless, the ongoing controversy, wherein Puech is alleged to have violated a €14 billion share conveyance pact with Qatar's Honor America Capital, unveils susceptibilities. Historically, the family's governance has favored consistency over transparency, and the bearer share mechanism, permitting anonymous ownership, complicates the substantiation of Puech's assertions. Should the judiciary rule adversely against him, the coerced divestiture of shares might dilute the family's authority, potentially paving the way for Gulf financiers or other conglomerates. Legal uncertainties and the bearer share predicament. The bearer share system, a vestige of French corporate legislation, remains a two-edged sword. Although it has historically safeguarded Hermès from hostile acquisitions by concealing ownership, it also engenders legal obscurity. In the Puech scenario, the absence of registered proprietorship records has clouded the situation, with Puech disputing awareness of the transaction and his erstwhile wealth advisor, Freymond, confronting separate allegations of mismanagement. The recent collapse of the agreement, linked to uncorroborated assertions concerning shares held at Lombard Odier, spotlights the hazards of a system where physical custody, rather than legal entitlement, defines ownership. This ambiguity could dissuade institutional investors, who are increasingly demanding lucidity in governance. A 2021 Federated Hermes poll revealed that 88% of institutional investors prioritize ESG criteria over conventional financial indicators, with 79% shunning companies with governance shortcomings. For Hermes, preserving its premium valuation necessitates addressing these concerns, even as it clings to its legacy. External investor coercion, ESG, and the struggle for market confidence. The luxury sector's movement toward ESG adherence has introduced an additional layer of intricacy. Hermes has reacted by integrating sustainability into its operations, from its 9Rs circular economy framework to on-demand production methodologies. Yet, its recent profit-sharing endeavors, dispersing €500 million in 2025 to employees, also conformed to investor demands for equitable practices. Still, the Puech dispute and the concurrent class action litigation over tying tactics, obligating customers to purchase supplementary items for Birkin bags, jeopardize trust. If the judiciary rules unfavorably against the company in either case, Hermès may confront operational revisions that could disrupt its exclusive distribution model, a cornerstone of its brand worth, valuation ramifications, and strategic robustness. Despite these obstacles, Hermès' valuation remains sturdy. As of July 2025, the company's market capitalization of €249 billion mirrors investor assurance in its long-term strategy. Its Q1 2025 income of €4.13 billion, propelled by leather goods and geographical expansion, demonstrates its capability to navigate macroeconomic fluctuations. However, the legal tussles introduce ephemeral hazards. A coerced sale of shares could momentarily dampen investor morale, while a defeat in the antitrust suit might strain margins. For investors, the pivotal inquiry is whether Hermès' governance framework can adjust without undermining its fundamental identity. The family's adeptness in navigating this controversy while sustaining ESG alignment will be pivotal. If the family prevails, the brand's valuation could rebound, fortifying its stature as a blue-chip luxury asset. Conversely, a judicial setback could indicate a transition toward external governance, modifying its risk profile. Investment insights. 1. Persistent vigor. Hermès' family leadership model, albeit obscure, has traditionally safeguarded its valuation and brand equity. Investors with a multi-decade perspective should contemplate the company's structural benefits in a sector where exclusivity and tradition are premium determinants. 2. Risk management. The bearer share issue and legal conflicts introduce ephemeral volatility. Investors should track court determinations and the resolution of the Puech case, which could trigger share price oscillations. 3. ESG conformity. Hermès' proactive ESG initiatives, encompassing profit-sharing and circular economy tactics, position it to fulfill evolving investor anticipations. This conformity may counterbalance some governance-linked risks. 4. Sector ranking. The luxury sector's expansion, fueled by Asian affluence and ESG-conscious consumers, bolsters Hermès' long-term prospects. However, rivalry from LVMH and Kering remains a headwind. In summary, the Hermès share controversy is more than a legal skirmish. It is a microcosm of the broader strains shaping luxury brand valuation. For investors, the message is unmistakable. In an age of ESG examination and geopolitical sway, family leadership and strategic flexibility will dictate whether a brand akin to Hermès endures as a citadel of worth or becomes a casualty of transformation.